The Sunday school lesson for January the 15th, 2023 is Blessing of Intercession. Hebrews chapter 4, verses 14 through chapter 5, verse 10. To the viewers and subscribers, welcome to my channel, The Backstory. I am Audrey, and on this channel, you will become aware of the events that take place before each Sunday school lesson. The standardized agenda is as follows. I will share the backstory, read the lesson text, and offer a brief lesson summary. Don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell. Thank you in advance for your support. Jesus, the high priest. According to Hebrews chapter 1, verses 1 through 3, better is the key word throughout this letter. First, Jesus was a prophet, but he was better than any of the prophets. Not just a spokesperson for God, he is God's son and therefore administrator of his kingdom. He did more than speak to the world. He made the universe and he provided purification for sins. Hebrews chapter 1, verses 4 through 14. Next, though Jesus was a supernatural messenger, as were the angels, he is superior to the angels. Throughout the Old Testament, angels were portrayed as messengers of God who enjoyed direct access to his divine presence and had special knowledge of his hidden affairs. But they were ministering spirits, servants of God, sent to serve those who will inherit salvation. Christ, in contrast, has a superior position and a superior nature. In terms of position, Christ was exalted to the highest place in heaven, the right hand of God himself, after faithfully fulfilling his calling. In setting aside his rights and dying for our sins, Christ was forever elevated to the highest position of honor. Regarding Christ's nature, it is important to stress that his authority is not simply a result of his good works. He did not earn a high place with God by becoming human and dying on a cross. That honor was already Christ's by his very nature. Christ's authority is a function of his eternal birthright. Jesus has a throne that is forever and ever. He is king now and forevermore. Jesus the intercessor. According to Hebrews chapter 3, verses 1 through 19, Jesus was the one sent to bring us salvation that could not come from prophets or angels. Furthermore, he can intercede for us with God as a high priest in ways impossible through the law of Moses. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 14 states, "Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold fast our profession." Blessing of intercession. Hebrews chapter 4, verse 14 through chapter 5, verse 10. Time, about AD 67. Place, unknown. Golden text. "Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold fast our profession." Hebrews chapter 4, verse 14. Verse 14, "Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold fast our profession." Verse 15, "For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feeling of our infirmities, but was in all points tempted like as we are, yet without sin. Verse 16. Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need. Chapter 5, verse 1. For every high priest taken from among men is ordained for men in things pertaining to God, that he may offer both gifts and sacrifices for sins. Verse 2. Who can have compassion on the ignorant and on them that are out of the way? For that he himself also is compassed with infirmity. Verse 3. And by reason hereof he ought, as for the people, so also for himself, to offer for sins. Verse 4. And no man taketh this honor unto himself, but he that is called of God, as was Aaron. Verse 5. So also Christ glorified not himself to be made an high priest, but he that said unto him, Thou art my son, today have I begotten thee. Verse 6. As he saith also in another place, Thou art a priest forever, after the order of Melchizedek. Verse 7. Who in the days of his flesh, when he had offered up prayers and supplications with strong crying and tears unto him that was able to save him from death, and was heard in that he feared. Verse 8. Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered. Verse 9. And being made perfect, he became the author of eternal salvation unto all them that obey him. Verse 10. Called of God and high priest after the order of Melchizedek. A brief summary. We must understand Jesus as high priest. Although our high priest has ascended into heaven, he is not some heavenly being who has had no experience of being human. Fully human, yet unstained by sin, Jesus is the perfect high priest. Leadership in ancient Israel was vested in the offices of prophet, priest, and king. Those functions were distinct, keeping too much power from being in the hands of one person. Jesus ended up being the ultimate exception. Yet there was one who, even before the law of Moses was given, had all three roles. Melchizedek was a prophet of God, a priest, and a king of Salem. Being a priest after the order of Melchizedek gave Jesus authority that no priest in Aaron's line had. Thank you so much for watching. Join me soon for the next backstory. Stay safe.